same issue as well. So we have Musalia Mudavadi saying that it's Kenyans who are the real voters, are the real decision makers. Then we have Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka here talking about the deep state. How true is this narrative of the deep state? And then at the end of the day, does it not also question the issue of democracy when you have certain elite men and women saying this is good or not good for the nation?
There is a crisis for democracy across the world because the way in which people would appear in a public square, you give speeches and people go and elect their choices, it has changed.
So this is a very deep narrative, this deep state.
Yeah. And also the issue of democracy. Democracy as a project has failed because the tenets of democracy are very germane. If you look at Aristotle, he says that the good of man is the beginning of the end of the science of politics. And that tells you that politics in itself is about doing things that are, unethical sometimes to win elections. Did you just see the serialization of what Cambridge Analytica was paid to help Jubilee? Mm-hmm. So in this issue of disinformation and fake news, you see even how it affected America and how Trump became president. Mm-hmm. So it's no longer about you queuing and voting. It's about who counts and who announces and who gets declared. The NASA people, and Mazo is one of them, they were crying about electoral justice. I myself, I am a victim in Ruiru. I wonder how I even participated in that kichinjio, but I went there knowingly. How can you have an election where there is no voter register, there is no indelible marker, the photocopies are there? These same malaise now transmitted to the general election. So when you talk about deep state, look at Mr. Odinga. Mr. Odinga has always had the people. That has he won. In fact, like in 2007, because I was in his party, actually he won. By that one, I think he won. But was he declared president? He had to share. And President Kibaki was very intelligent, as he always is. He even appointed 17 ministers so that the other 17 could be from whoever, because he knew. And Kivuda Kibano was there telling us, can we share this government? When Malakaro was making all the noise. And Ruto and Orengo were trying to fight whatever. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is this. The voting is not the issue. No. So these things are manipulated, and nowadays there is even now the science of manipulating crowds from a distance. It is very, very sophisticated, and there are people who have specialized in these tactics, so that whatever you are able to see, is subterfuge. There is something below. So Kalonzo is completely right.
And so,
if it is not enough to have the people.
If that is the reality, Senator Mwaura,
yes.
Then what should Kenyans do in this conversation of BBI if actually there are some other people, some other forces making decisions for them?
Let me ask you something, Gituku. Maybe I was Jubilee Damu. Did you see when we were being given definitions of TB and Tialala, and the way they were being choreographed to look like they were from a dictionary? Now if you Google and look for that dictionary, you will not find it. But around election time, how many people are able to make their political choice based on that lie, that those were names from the devil? What I'm trying to say is this. In this fourth industrial revolution, things have changed. The same way Senator Ledama was speaking about the old time as a traditionalist and what have you, the electoral system is not as simplistic as we'd want it to be. In fact, the problem we are having in these conversations is of that of missionaries, people who want to do good, mercenaries, and misfits, all meeting together in conversations like BBI.
So, Honorable Isaac, at the end of the day then, can Kenyans conclude that this deep state, these men and women who sit down and decide where Kenya is going, are to blame for where we are as Kenya? Tribalism, since they're the ones who decide which person or which community is going to be holding the seat, the biggest seat in this nation, to blame for Kenya being the grace of Africa, if we have to talk about our economy as well. Are they to blame, the deep state?
I wish we had 1,000 hours to discuss this thing, because it's a very important topic. It's number one, did you realize some times back when the whole continent was lied to that we were the next big thing? Then what happened? All our economies were rebased. When our economies were rebased, we all went for commercial loans. Now we are going back to being mortgaged. We are going back to the Paris Club, the odious debt issues. Who has benefited? Our lives have been mortgaged on these grandiose projects that have no little impact on the economy. Now, fast forward, do you remember this lady who was ambassador in the UN from AU? When she criticized France, she was removed because the current AU chairman is actually an appendage of the French because he was put there by the Francophonie. The people who are in this country trying to manage who becomes the next president are not visible.
Of course.
You and I vote, but the mechanisms on how that is attained is deeper. And you know why they do it? It is about interest. Look at the case of Sierra Leone. Why was people like Fodé Sanko removed? And John Koroma? It's because of the interest of diamonds, it's the issue of rice. You understand, it's big business. So these deep state people will have a president who they are comfortable with. It doesn't matter how many votes you have, how you shout Tibim Tialala, how you do Tano Tena, or whatever slogan that will be